Welcome back to the Rules of Engagement. Before we jump into analyzing game number 3 between Polt and Creator, let me remind you guys, if you're looking about future education, future potential careers, and you're considering getting involved in the game design industry, and you want to get in there through a graphical standpoint, through a video production standpoint, animation standpoint, audio engineering standpoint, all these great careers are founded off of great education. If you want to find out more information about a potential great education you could get, go to www.fullsail.edu/MLG. On the Creator vs. Polt, game number 3. A couple things I'll talk about this game are basically how to punish a fast third TVP. You can tell that's the theme of this thing, right? Game 1 is a regularly timed third base. Game 2, Creator gets an advantage, so he takes his third base extra fast. Game 3, he tries to take it that fast without the advantage. We're going to talk about how to punish it from a Terran perspective if you're not behind. Then we're going to talk about potential overconfidence and how that can sometimes be a problem. Then we're going to talk about late game TVP just a little bit. So we're going to jump in this game at the 9:30 mark. And right here, both players open normal. Polt, of course, didn't try that wacky Widowmine bio timing. He went straight for standard. Medevac plays. Also going up to 5 barracks before third, which he's done every game this series as well. So it's pretty standard TVP stuff. Creator, on the other hand, try to take a very fast third base. So Polt just figures that out right about now. The Nexus is already done. Now, a lot of mistakes Terran players make and say, oh, he took a third base. I should be stronger than him. I'm going to go across map and kill him. But if you think that's actually going to work, just take a second to think about the numbers. The fast third base, how much does that cost? 400 minerals. Is 400 minerals really going to affect the army that much at the 11-12 minute mark? At least compared to the fact that they'll have force fields if any choke, they'll have photon overcharge, they'll have time warps, and your army has to cross all maps. You're losing your rally. 400 minerals is not that big of a difference as far as the actual army size. It is a difference, but you still can't go away with that frontal attack. What you can see in the game, the right way to do it, you can scare them with the frontal attack. But if he try to charge up, there's no way he beat this Protoss army. There's no way. But what he does have is he has a mobility advantage, right? Because he has the medevacs. So what he can do is he wants to try to spread the Protoss out first, and then he engages the base, the third base, right? So if you talk about the ideas, right? The Protoss army right now, it's all here, right? This is the Protoss army. It's yellow square there. You can't fight it straight up. At least not through a choke. Made it open with good flank, yeah, but not charge up a choke. But you get him to segment off a little section here and send that over here to defend drop. And then another section over here and send that down there to defend an attack in a natural. And then using the fact that you have a speed advantage, right? You can use your forces, right? Earlier you did drop play. You're trying to scare them in these directions. And then, along with your other force, you converge everything all of a sudden, and now you have your entire army, but you're not finding the Protoss entire army because you made them spread out, and then you use your mobility to converge on one point before they could regroup again, right? That's exactly the way to punish a Protoss fast third base. That's exactly what Polt's going to do. We'll see it in action. And this was, of course, in action in a big important match at the MLG Winter Championships. Very, very, very high stakes there. So both players were playing their best strategies. We can see here. He's going to throw that drop into main. Creator's not going to die to the drop because he's really good at Starcraft, right? So he's going to anticipate that and be ready for it with some units to defend, right? Then what else is he going to do? He's going to have his units positioned here, right, where they can threaten to attack the natural. Even if he doesn't do that, it's still okay because he's still threatening to drop into main. Once his force Creator is spread out, he converges, right? He strikes over here and here at the same time. Creator's army, maybe it can beat that, right? So he's like, okay, let's not do it again. We spread them out. We'll try to spread out some more. Go back for the drop play. All right, we're going to see what we can do here. We're going to attack the natural as well, right? And then as the Protoss goes back to defend these bases, right? He says he has segment away some units here to defend the main. He has to send some units here to defend the natural. And then, once all the units get away from the third base, he's forced them away with these movements. Although, great job sniping the medevacs by Creator. Just keeps him in this game. Then he can go in here, and all of a sudden he can refocus on a third base once he's spread the Protoss around and take it out. So, this is how you punish a fast third. Use the medevac play. don't get into big army engagements straight up, but just move the army around. There will be an opening because your opponent is going to have slower blink, slower charge, slower colossi, slower templar. All the units that really help them deal with this type of play aren't going to be there. So now the tricky part is to not be overconfident, right? Your Polt, you're like, yeah, I killed a third base, hoorah! But you have to realize your third base was late. It just got up right now. He's at a third base for a while. You also have to realize that you lost a couple of medevacs here, right? So are you really that far ahead? Well, you've got 3 bases. He's got 2, so you're base up. But that's not that unusual in Terran vs. Protoss. You're up by about 15 food, but again, it's not that unusual in Terran vs. Protoss. You've got a little bit of an upgrade advantage. Or actually, you've got upgraded quality. So you're slightly ahead, right? You're up 15 food. You have an extra base. But it's not like you've won the game. Because all you did is you punished him a bit, but remember, he didn't mine from the base for a little while. He was able to evacuate almost all the probes. I mean, he lost some through the drops, but 16 for all the drop plays, not that much. He still has plenty of probes. You're ahead, but you haven't won the game yet. All right? Maybe if you didn't lose the medevacs here, it would have been a different story. But losing those, he's winning, but it's not over. So don't get too overconfident. Then the next thing we're going to talk about is he's ahead. He's going to continue to go forward in the game. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit to get to the next section. Because we want to talk about now is keep playing your strong plays here, right? He's going to keep trying to spread the Protoss out, use draw play, try to find a hole. Trader's going to keep getting the nice army. He's going to go for a straight engagement because there's no storm. But he doesn't really have the medevac count to want to kite too far because he thinks he'll get burned out eventually, and he has no answer to the Colossi right now, right? There's 3 Colossi. There's no Vikings with this force. So right now he's trying to catch up. He's got 2 starports cranking out Vikings. And once those come out, he'll be in very good shape. But if he can't win the game there, it's going to go to late game TVP. And one thing that's important about late game TVP, once both players max out, which it looks like they're going to in this situation, Terran strength is, in a single engagement, they tend to do slightly better, all micro being equal, right? Slightly better in a single engagement. Protoss' advantage in late game is the fact that with warp gates, they can reinforce very quickly. So how many games have you guys either played as a Terran or a Protoss, or you've seen at the pro level happen where both armies trade, right? It's a late game engagement. Both sides lose a bunch of units. And then all of a sudden, Protoss has 40 Zealots killing a Terran expansion, and Terran has like 5 Marauders coming out. That's because warp gates can reinforce much faster. It's not that Terran hasn't, Terran might have 40 Marines, but they're all in production. They're being rallied out. Protoss units are there right now. And with that reinforcement advantage, they can take out a couple bases very quickly. So late game as a Terran, you got to be very careful about the fast ability for Protoss to reinforce. That's why what we have Polt doing, he's going to build some planetary fortresses, right? Because he knows if the game goes longer, he'll eventually be more cost-efficient in battles because of Ghost, Cloak, Vikings, etc. But the fast reinforcements and the counterattacks of Protoss can be very deadly. So he's going to make sure he's safe from that by going ahead and getting a planetary fortress to defend his choke here, right? So this gives him a retreat point, right? If they trade, the Protoss reinforces quickly, the planetary fortress can buy time, slow the attack down enough in order for his production to kick in, right? And then, of course, as it goes late, he'll get better and better because of that. Because he'll just keep being straight engagements where he's ready, not trying to deal with a whole bunch of his rally units fighting out against Zealots. This game goes on for a little bit. Some more fancy stuff and moves from both players. It's actually a pretty good demonstration of how to play late game TVP from a Terran perspective. From a Protoss, Trader's movements and positioning are great. Unfortunately, it's down to the Storm micro. Doesn't really have the Storms. Loses in those late game engagements. He also tries to do a couple big counterattacks, but the planetary fortresses stop him, allow Polt to really work around his army much, much, much better. So, important things about this game. One, if you want to see a lot of cool late game positioning, check out the VOD, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. You can look under the playlist for the MLG Winter Championships Round 1. You can just search for Polt, search for Creator. Any of those options will find you the appropriate replay to see game number 3. Other thing, if you're a Protoss and you want to take a fast third, it's very tough. It's possible, but it's very tough if your Terran opponent is really good at using medevacs. If you're a Terran, your Protoss opponent takes a fast third. Don't just try to cram your units down their throat and kill them, because with the Mothership Core, it's going to be very hard. What you want to do is use drop play. And what's much more important than normal drop play, you don't drop and fight. You don't drop and trade units. If you trade units to straight on battle, Remember, they had the fast third. They're going to outnumber you. You drop to pull the units out of position, and then you move to attack a weak target that's now weakened because the units are out of position. And they won't have the mobility to keep up with your movements. So you can slowly whittle them down, and eventually it'll be an open base. You can take out the Nexus. So that's how you punish a faster from Protoss. And then as the game goes late as Terran, utilize planetary fortresses. If you watch Thor's gameplay, who's very good late game TVP, he uses a lot of planetary fortresses. It's very important to make sure you can stay alive from Protoss army until you can rebuild your army, because your army takes longer to reproduce. So wraps up the analysis on game number 3 between Creator and Polt. Take a short break and be on to the Q&A.